Dominic Grows Sweetcorn by Mandy Ross and Alison Bartlett. On Friday after school, Dominic went for tea at Grandad Wilford and Grandma Dora's. Sweet corn on the cob, said Dominic. Yum. We used to grow sweet corn back in Jamaica, said Grandad. Now I've stopped work. I'm going to try growing it here. You want to help me, my boy? Yes, please, said Dominic. Next day, Dominic and Grandad Wilford went out into the garden. It looks like a jungle, groaned Dominic. Dominic and Grandad cleared and weeded all weekend, and all the next weekend, too. Grandad, what did you grow back in Jamaica? Asked Dominic. We had lemon trees, orange trees, lime and mango, said Grandad. It was cool high in the hills, perfect for growing coffee. Coffee? Asked Dominic. Yes, nodded Grandad. We brewed our own fresh coffee. I can smell it now. And in the field behind the house, we grew sweet corn. Much better, said Grandad when they had cleared the weeds. Now we need to dig the soil to get air in. Lots of worms, said Dominic as he dug. I like to see the worms a-wiggling, laughed Grandad. I remember the chickens used to come and peck at them. Chickens? Asked Dominic. Yes, my boy, laughed Grandad. We children looked after the chickens. We collected the eggs before we went to school. And we had pigs and goats, too, and a few cows, and we drank the milk fresh and warm from the cow. Next Saturday, round at Grandad's, Dominic planted the seeds. 2 in each little pot, said Grandad. They put the pots on the sunny windowsill, ready to get growing. Did you grow everything you needed in Jamaica? Asked Dominic. No, we'd trade, said Grandad. Each week a trader would come from the lowlands. He'd bring sugar cane or cocoa or jars of honey. The fishermen would bring baskets of fish to trade. We'd sell our lemons or mangoes in exchange, and then we'd brew some coffee and swap the news. 2 weeks later, the baby sweet corn plants were sprouting. Can we plant them out soon? Asked Dominic, watering the rows of pots. When the weather's a bit warmer, said Grandad. Shall I tell you another story about Jamaica? Yes, please. One day when I was getting grown up, said Grandad, I saw a young girl coming, about 17 years old. My dad's ill, she said. I've brought the sugar cane to trade. Oh my, she was a pretty girl. I made sure to bring our very best coffee, smiled Grandad, and that's how I met your Grandma Dora. Trading sugar cane? Smiled Dominic. Grandad nodded. After a while, we wanted to get married, but there was no work for us there in Jamaica. When the weather had warmed up a bit, Dominic and Grandad planted the baby sweet corn plants out in the garden. I hope they grow enough sweet corn to trade, smiled Dominic. So did you come here to find work? He asked Grandad as they planted. Yes, said Grandad. They were asking folks to come over here for all sorts of jobs, in hospitals, on buses. Me and Grandma Dora, we made a plan. We were going to get married, come and work over here for 5 years, and then go back home. But you're still here, laughed Dominic. Yes, said Grandad, this is our home now. Grandad, our sweet corn is growing, called Dominic the next time he visited. Shall I water them again? Yes, help them grow tall and strong, said Grandad, just like you. Did you come to Britain by boat? Asked Dominic. No, by plane, said Grandad. It was a long journey. We came to stay with your great-uncle Arthur, who was over here already. We felt so cold when we arrived. The first day we were too cold to go outside, and the next day too. Dominic and Grandad watered the sweet corn every few days. Soon they could see small cobs starting to grow and grow. "Did you find a job, Grandad?" asked Dominic. "Yes, though it took me a week or two, knocking on doors and asking for work. Some bosses turned me away when they saw my face," said Grandad. "But at last I got a job in a factory, making bits of car engines. And your Grandma Dora, she worked at the hospital." At last the sweet corn cobs were nice and fat, with silky hairs growing at their tips. "Are they ripe?" asked Dominic. Grandad pulled open the green leafy cover. "You press one of the seeds with your fingernail like this," he said. "See that milky juice coming out? That means they're ripe." Dominic and Grandad picked lots of fat cobs. "Did you and Grandma Dora work hard?" asked Dominic. "Yes," sighed Grandad. "And harder still when the babies came. Your dad and your sisters. Grandma Dora looked after them while I went to work, and then at night I'd see to the babies, and your Grandma Dora worked nights at the hospital. Work, work, work." "Sounds hard, Grandad," said Dominic. "It was," smiled Grandad. "But now I can stay home and look after my garden with you, my boy." "Morning, Wilford," called Jim from over the fence. "Morning, young Dominic. You want some tomatoes?" "I've grown too many. We can't eat them all." Dominic looked at Grandad and smiled. "We'll trade," said Dominic. "We'll give you some of our sweet corn on the cob in exchange." That afternoon, Dominic and Grandma Dora made tomato salad while Grandad Wilford barbecued sweet corn on the cobs. And then they invited Jim from over the fence. "What a garden feast we've grown," smiled Grandad Wilford. "And traded," said Dominic. Delicious."